Top 5 vegetables that raise toxins in weak kidneys. There are 5 vegetables that people with weak kidneys keep eating every day without knowing they can push toxins higher and make things worse. Most people think vegetables are always safe, but in kidney problems, that's not true. And the scary part? 3 of these are probably sitting in your kitchen right now. If your kidneys are weak, even small choices can make a big difference. Some vegetables that are normally healthy can become a problem because they carry too much potassium, too much phosphorus, or too many compounds your kidneys can't clear well. Today, we're breaking down the top 5 vegetables that can raise toxins in weak kidneys, why they do it, and what safer options you can use instead. Stay with me because the one most people think is the safest is actually the worst for damaged kidneys. Number 1, potatoes. When we talk about vegetables that can quietly push toxins higher in weak kidneys, potatoes always sit near the top of the list. They may look harmless, but one medium potato can carry around 610 milligrams of potassium, which is a lot when your kidneys can't filter well. High potassium doesn't just stress weak kidneys, it can also build up in the blood and affect the heart. Most people think potatoes are clean energy, but for anyone with kidney problems, they can turn into a hidden source of trouble. But here's the good part. Potatoes don't have to be completely off limits. There's a simple method that many kidney experts talk about called leaching. This is basically soaking and boiling potatoes in a way that pulls potassium out of the vegetable. The idea is to give your kidneys less work to do while still letting you enjoy a food you're used to. The method is easy. First, peel the potatoes and cut them into small pieces. The smaller the pieces, the more potassium escapes. Then soak them in warm water for at least 2 hours. After that, boil the pieces for around 10 minutes, dump the water, and cook them again in fresh water. Studies have shown that this can reduce potassium by up to half compared to the original amount. So you're not just lowering potassium a little, you're cutting a huge part of the load that weak kidneys would normally struggle with. If you still want flavor, you can mix leached potatoes with low potassium vegetables like cabbage or cucumbers. This keeps the meal balanced and safer for your kidneys. You get comfort, food taste, but without the big spike in potassium that raises toxins in the body. The key is not removing potatoes forever. It's learning how to prepare them in a way that protects your kidneys instead of stressing them. Number 2, leafy green. Another group of vegetables that can quietly overload weak kidneys are Swiss chard, spinach, and beet greens. These leafy greens look light and harmless, but they hold a lot more potassium than most people realize. Depending on the type, 1 cup of raw greens can carry 136 to 290 milligrams of potassium, which is already high. But the real problem starts when you cook them. When these greens hit heat, they shrink fast, sometimes down to less than 1/5 of their original size. The trick here is that the potassium does not shrink with them. It stays inside the leaves. That means half a cup of cooked spinach can hold the same potassium as several cups of raw spinach. This creates a tiny serving size that packs a huge mineral load your kidneys can't clear well. Over time, this can raise potassium levels in the blood, and that can push kidney toxins even higher. Raw greens are usually a safer choice for weak kidneys because the serving size stays big and the potassium is spread out. But even raw greens come with another hidden issue, oxalates. Many trusted health sources explain that oxalates can bind with calcium in the kidneys and increase the risk of kidney stones. And once stones form, they can irritate the kidneys, damage tissue, and slowly lower kidney function even more. So eating too many leafy greens can become a double hit: high potassium and high oxalates. The goal isn't to avoid these greens forever. It's about balance, smart portions, and the right combinations. If you enjoy spinach or Swiss chard, keep the servings small, choose mostly raw, and pair them with low oxalate, low potassium vegetables like lettuce or cabbage. You can also mix a handful of raw spinach into a larger bowl of low potassium veggies so the minerals stay under control. Another easy method is rotating these greens instead of eating them daily. For example, use spinach once or twice a week and switch to safer greens on other days. This helps you enjoy variety without pushing your kidneys too hard. With weak kidneys, even healthy foods can become risky when their minerals pile up. Understanding how leafy greens behave, raw versus cooked, high oxalates, shrinking size, gives you more control and keeps your kidneys protected instead of overwhelmed. Number 3, tomatoes. Another food that often surprises people with weak kidneys is the tomato. Most of us use tomatoes almost every day, in salads, soups, stews, sauces, even drinks. They taste light and fresh, but they carry a lot more potassium than people think. A raw tomato already has a decent amount, but the real problem starts when tomatoes are turned into sauce. When tomatoes cook down, the water disappears, but the potassium stays. That's why just 1 cup of tomato sauce can hold around 728 milligrams of potassium, which is extremely high for anyone with damaged kidneys. Many trusted health articles explain the same thing. When you cook or blend tomatoes, you concentrate all the minerals into a small amount of food. So a tiny scoop of sauce can overload the kidneys much faster than a whole fresh tomato ever could. And when potassium levels rise too quickly, the kidneys struggle to filter it out, which can push toxins higher in the blood and increases stress on the heart. But here's the good news. You don't have to remove flavor from your meals. You just need smarter swaps. One of the best low-potassium substitutes is roasted red pepper sauce. It has a similar rich color and slightly sweet flavor, but with far less potassium. Many kidney-friendly diets recommend it because it gives the same comfort and texture without making your kidneys work overtime. You can roast the peppers yourself or buy them pre-roasted, blend them with garlic, onion, and a little oil, and you get a sauce that tastes close to tomato sauce but is much safer. You can also mix a small spoon of tomato sauce with a larger amount of red pepper sauce if you still want that tomato taste. This way, you control the potassium while keeping the flavor you're used to. For dishes like pasta, pizza, and soups, this swap makes a huge difference. It keeps your meals enjoyable, but it stops the silent buildup of potassium that weak kidneys can't handle. Tomatoes aren't bad, but they become risky when they're cooked down, concentrated, and eaten often. Knowing when and how to replace them gives your kidneys breathing room. And that small change can slow toxin buildup more than most people expect. If this is helping you understand your kidneys better, hit subscribe and drop a comment if you have any questions or want me to cover something specific. Number 4, pickles and relish. Another food that can silently overload weak kidneys is something many people keep in their fridge without thinking twice. Pickles and relish. Since pickles are made from cucumbers, most people assume they're healthy. But the moment cucumbers are cured, everything changes. Pickles are soaked in a salty brine for days or even weeks, and that process loads them with huge amounts of sodium. In fact, one large dill pickle, around 4 inches long, can hold more than 1,090 milligrams of sodium, which is almost half of what many kidney patients should eat in an entire day. High sodium is one of the fastest ways to raise toxins in weak kidneys. When sodium enters your body, your kidneys have to work harder to get rid of the extra fluid it pulls into your bloodstream. But when your kidneys are already struggling, this extra workload leads to swelling, higher blood pressure, and slower toxin removal. That's why many kidney experts and trusted health articles warn that pickles and relish can make kidney problems worse, even if you only eat a small amount. But here's the good news. You don't have to give up flavor, you just need better choices. If you love the crunch and tang of pickles, you can switch to low-sodium pickles, which some stores carry. They still have the sour taste, but much less salt. Another simple trick is slicing regular pickles into tiny pieces and mixing them with fresh cucumber slices. This spreads out the sodium so you get the taste without the heavy load on your kidneys. A safer option many people enjoy is marinating fresh cucumbers in vinegar, garlic, and herbs for a few hours. This gives you a bright, tasty, pickle-like flavor with almost no sodium at all. You can add these to sandwiches, salads, or snacks without pushing your kidneys too hard. If you enjoy relish, try chopping fresh cucumbers, onions, and bell peppers and mix them with a little vinegar instead of salty brine. Pickles and relish are small foods that pack a big sodium punch. When kidneys are weak, that sodium builds up fast and raises toxins in ways people rarely notice, until symptoms appear. By choosing low-sodium versions, mixing them with fresh veggies, or making your own, you protect your kidneys while still keeping the flavors you love. Number 5, canned vegetables. The last food on this list might seem harmless at first, but it can push toxins higher in weak kidneys faster than most people expect. Canned vegetables. The problem isn't the vegetables themselves, it's what gets added to them before they even reach the store shelf. Many trusted health sources point out that canned vegetables often contain very high amounts of sodium, sometimes 2 or 3 times more than their fresh version. And this is where things get dangerous for anyone with damaged kidneys. When sodium builds up in your body, your kidneys have to work harder to pull extra fluid out of your bloodstream. But weak kidneys can't do this job well. That extra sodium causes your body to hold on to water, which raises blood pressure, increases swelling, and makes it even harder for your kidneys to clear toxins. So a small can of vegetables can turn into a big problem. Not because of the vegetable, but because of the sodium that traps fluid and slows kidney function even more. But you don't need to avoid vegetables completely. You just need a smarter way to choose and prepare them. The best option is always fresh vegetables because they don't come with added salt. Frozen vegetables are also a great choice since they are usually preserved without sodium and keep most of their nutrients. If canned vegetables are your only option, there's still a simple fix. Rinse them under running water before cooking. This can wash away a large part of the extra salt and make them much safer for weak kidneys. To keep your meals balanced, try mixing rinsed canned vegetables with fresh or frozen ones. This cuts the sodium while keeping the flavor and texture you like. And if you want a fast, kidney-friendly meal, combine low-sodium canned green beans with fresh cabbage or zucchini. You get the same convenience but without the heavy sodium load that raises toxins. Canned vegetables may seem like an easy choice, but the hidden sodium can quietly overload your kidneys. By switching to fresh or frozen, or rinsing canned ones, you protect your kidneys while still enjoying the vegetables you love. When you look at these 5 foods together, the message becomes clear. Even vegetables can raise toxins when your kidneys are weak. Potatoes pack a heavy potassium load unless you prepare them the right way. Leafy greens like spinach, Swiss chard, and beet greens shrink when cooked and trap more potassium and oxalates in every bite. Tomatoes turn into a concentrated potassium bomb once they become sauce. Canned vegetables hide large amounts of sodium that slow your kidneys down. And pickles or relish may look small, but their salty brine can push your kidneys to the edge. The goal isn't to fear vegetables, it's to understand how they change when they're cooked, cured, or processed, and how those small details can make your kidneys work harder than they should. When you know what to watch for, potassium, sodium oxalates, and serving size, you get real control over your kidney health. You can still enjoy flavor, still enjoy your meals, and still enjoy the foods you love, but in a way that protects your kidneys instead of overwhelming them. Small choices matter, and when your kidneys are weak, the right choices can slow down toxin buildup, reduce stress on your body, and help you feel better day after day.